from Teach Pre-K, and I finished my first week of school. It was kind of abbreviated. I work Monday through Thursday, and on Thursday morning on my way to school, I was in a car crash, and I think my car is totaled. Thank God I'm fine, and nobody else was hurt. But kind of gave me less of a full week than I expected. I do have the back to school night, which is different from Meet the Teacher. Meet the Teacher is more kind of casual meet and greet. Parents are with kids, check out the classroom, kind of see how things are going. Back to school night is just for the parents, and it's where they get the important information about school and my classroom and all that fun stuff. Now, I usually give them a flip book that will have the teachers in the classroom, because it's myself and some aides that move around. And then the next tab in my flip book is contact information. So it's my email, my phone number, and all the contact information for the school. That then special dates to remember, days off, picture days, fall break, spring break, just anything, parent-teacher conferences. That's all broken down month by month. And then I give them procedures for dropping off and picking up, and a snack schedule and suggested things for the snack. And that's what I usually do for back to school night, because it's usually 2 days after school starts. So I give people a couple of days to get things down and kind of know, and then I give them all that information. I've given most of it in emails. This is something for them to keep and have on hand. Since we are having our back to school night 10 days into the school year, I needed to get that out, so I put those together this weekend and sent those home. For back to school night, this is where we talk about the class parties that we're going to have. The room reps have a sign-up genius ready for the parents to sign up. We talk about what goes on in my classroom specifically, the things that they can expect their kids to be learning and doing. We will go over how the teachers will support the kids' emotional development as the year progresses, how we will keep them safe from anything and everything, from falls on the playground, other kids hitting them or biting them, what kind of drills we have, and how we handle those with kids so small, things of that nature. What to do if you have a conflict with the teacher or the school. Gosh, we talk about different parent groups and volunteer opportunities. One thing I spend a lot of time on is kind of telling them what play-based learning is and how it works in my classroom, and some of the things that we will be doing that support play-based learning and what their kids can learn and how they can support us at school, at home. Another thing that I spend a lot of time talking about, especially because I taught during the pandemic, is when to keep your kids home from school. Now, your school is going to have specific policies regarding that. Our school has specific policies. One of them, which I think is every school across the board, if they have a fever that cannot be reduced without medication, they cannot come to school within 24 hours until that fever comes down. If they have a rash, do not send them to school, because a lot of times we don't know if rashes are contagious. If they have vomited within 24 hours, that means if they vomit at school, their parent picks them up. I don't want to see them at school the next day, even if they're fine. I don't want to see them. 24 hours, nothing. If their child has red and watery, goopy eyes, because that's usually a sign of pink eye, which is super contagious. Last year, we had a huge outbreak of hand, foot, and mouth. So I'll be talking about the things to look for with that too. It's so nice down in preschool. I also do not like kids. I will actually turn kids away at the door who are coughing or who have yellowy green stuff coming out of their nose. No, thank you. Oh, I made a bubble. I didn't know that. I think I can make balloons. I've done that before too. Let's see if it works. Yeah, there we go. Yay. But because of the whole COVID, everything, the pandemic, just keep your kids home. Last week on my first day, I was sneezed in the face twice, droplets all over. There's a lot of allergies and stuff going on. I'm perfectly fine and healthy. Nothing happened, but it made me go, okay, yeah, back to school night. This is something I need to talk about. If their child does have allergies and they have a runny nose and are sneezing, usually with allergies, the runny nose is clear. But just let me know. Let me know what's going on. If people in their house are homesick with COVID, I don't want them to come unless they're tested and they come, just because once teachers start falling, we don't have enough subs to keep our entire school open. And we do have a policy that while you are exhibiting COVID symptoms and testing positive, you can't come to school. As a teacher, I think the same thing applies to the kids, right? So things of that nature are super important to talk about. Oh, parents always want to know if they can bring a birthday treat. Our birthday treat guidelines are they have to be individually wrapped before they come to school. So don't ask me to wrap your stuff. Don't hand me a box of cupcakes and go, here you go. Although because I like cupcakes so much, I will go ahead and pack those individually because then I get to eat a cupcake. Best way to pack cupcakes, you guys, get paper cups, put the cupcake in a paper cup, put it in a little zippy bag or whatever, and you are good to go. Yeah, took me a few years to learn that one. That is basically what I will touch on. I also sent out an email today, so this is Sunday, our back to school night is Wednesday, just telling them if they do have any questions or concerns that they want me to address at back to school night, to send me those questions and concerns right now so I can work them in my presentation, and they don't need to feel nervous about asking a question. They don't need to feel like, oh, my question is stupid. No one wants to know the answer to this. There are always, especially with brand new parents, so many questions that they all have. But they're in there with parents that have had kids in preschool and they don't want to look stupid asking these questions. So I want to give them an opportunity before back to school night to tell me any questions and concerns that they have so I can address it to the group and not single anyone out. I think that's a really good way to also build rapport with the parents. I don't have any handouts because, like I said, I always just give them that flip book that I'm sending home tomorrow. I meant to send it home on Thursday, but car crash. So I keep it easy. We are having 2 sessions, a break, and then 2 more sessions. I also told my parents I don't need a break. I would rather go home. It's a super duper long day. So if I can have people come to the first session, the second session, and then the break session, perfect. Perfect for me. Normally, the bulk of my parents come at the beginning. Also, if you are doing a back to school night, ours does not allow for children. So I always send an email out, like I did today, saying this is not for kids. If they have an infant that's just a little tiny baby, yes, that's fine. But I don't want their 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds in the classroom during my back to school night. It's really distracting, disruptive, and the kid is probably going to be super tired from being at school all day and it's going to be crabby. So it's um, just kind of a potential situation that you don't want on back to school night. That is your time to talk to the parents. Um, I have had really good back to school nights. Usually we have just 2 sessions and most of the people come to the first. I have a couple stragglers at the second and then I'm done. But I enjoy talking to the parents a lot. I remember my first couple back to school nights, I was very nervous. And the best way to combat being nervous is be super prepared. Write yourself a list of bullet points of things that you want to talk to the parents about that night. And then if you hit all those high points, you're going to be great. It's really an easy thing once you get used to it. The parents tend to look to you as an expert. Because I'm older, that puts me at a great disadvantage. I'm older, I've raised kids, I've done this job for 16 years. So when I realized, oh, they're just looking to me to give them some answers and to help support them in their parenting and in the education of their child, especially as they first start out, they just really want to be reassured that you are doing your best to love their child and keep them safe while they're at school. They want to know that you're helping them socialize. They want to know how you resolve conflict between children. I also will just tell them a lot of things that happen that they don't need to be as concerned about as they think they do. I've seen over the years on the playground, children are running past each other. Our playground's kind of small. They bump into somebody and keep going. Sometimes they might knock that child over, and we deal with that as it happens. But sometimes they just get bumped, and sometimes they get bumped many times by kids running around chasing each other, and they call that pushing. Well, it took me a while because I would hear all these. They're getting pushed on the playground. So and so is pushing them, and I'm like, that kid's not pushing anybody. He's always running around playing, I don't know what they play. Gosh, Mario Kart half the time. But I started to realize that they take that brush by them walking as pushing because they feel pushed. So I talk to the parents about common things that they might hear about on the playground and how I would like them to address those with me. I want to know about these things right off the bat so I know what to look for. We do not have enough people to have eyes on every child all the time. I do my best to position myself on the playground where the other teachers are not. My job is to watch the children out there, not to talk with my coworkers. I don't care if they talk with each other. It makes no difference to me. Some days I feel like just talking with my coworkers. They're wonderful people, but I do try to make sure that I'm taking my job, and especially my job at that time, very seriously. And that's another thing that I let the parents know at back to school night. It just gives them just an added bit of security. I also like to compliment them on anything they've done right, be it the first 2 days of school, first day of school, or like in my case, week and a half of school. So it's going to be great job leaving that, crying child so we can calm them down. It works so much faster. Your kids are doing great. You all have great kids. They love to listen to books, and you must be reading to them at home. Things like that. Anything you can do to just begin a relationship with those parents. You're going to have different interactions with them, and if anything does happen where a child might have some kind of conflict or they need some extra special help, maybe cognitively or physically, if they have a good, trusting relationship with you from the get-go, all those situations that are going to come up during the year are going to be so much easier to handle. Even if you think you don't know what you're doing at all, you do. Trust yourself. Also, if you don't have the answer to something, say, you know what? I don't want to give you wrong information. So if you don't mind, I am going to ask someone, and can I get back to you with that? And get back to them. Have a pad and paper right there so you can write down their question or what they want to know about, and get back to them ASAP. If you can do it that night, great. If it takes, until the next day when you have time to ask somebody at school or Google something, make sure you get back to those parents. Just get off on the right foot, start solid, and it's going to make your whole year go better. So if you guys have a back to school night coming up, let me know if you want to see what the flip books look like. I did a peek into my week for What About Me week, and you will see them in that video. And I do have the templates for those available. I'm always happy to share. Just let me know by emailing me at teachprekk101@gmail.com, and I will do that. So I gotta go. It's Sunday night, and my daughter and her fiance are coming over for surf and turf, and I'm super excited. So have a good week at school. If you're midweek, I don't know when I'm gonna get around to posting this. I hope it's been a good week, and I hope you finish really well too. Thanks so much for watching.